Fest. Action from round number 4. Ali Mafouf in the black with the white stripes. In the black with the gold is Mike Vega from Allentown. And we're picking up where we left off in round number 3. Toe-to-toe action.
Stick it, Mike, stick it. Right hand behind it.
And Vega gets caught with a wild right hand.
But I'll tell you what, he traded a left for that, and I think that was a fair trade the way it looked.
And Mafouf is just putting his head down and firing those right hands.
And if Vega starts using that uppercut in there close, I think he's going to be rewarded.
If you're just tuning in, I'm Mike Mittman at ringside along with John Carrolley. We're live from SportsFest. It's championship professional boxing exclusively on TV2 Sports. And we'll be back with more action tomorrow night from SportsFest 97. And Mafouf really firing those lefts and rights in. And if Vega ever walks into one of those wild rights, there's going to be some trouble.
Vega having a little bit of difficulty getting through that peekaboo defense of Mafouf, who's very slick. Mafouf coming in with the peekaboo and wants to land one of those big, wide looping punches. Vega has to duck under those punches and come back up with an undercut and uppercut, and then he'll have him right where he wants him. See if he can figure that out this round.
Oh, and Vega gets a right, gives a right, and you can feel the intensity of those punches. By a bobbing and weaving Ali Mafouf. And you can't ask for any more action than we've gotten in this fight, John.
I'll tell you what, two entirely different styles making for a very good fight here. And I'll tell you, it's a close one, Mike. I haven't been keeping a scorecard on this, but I would say it's a very close fight.
And once again, the decision will be decided by 3 judges. Seated at ringside, the 10-point must system. 10 points to the winner of the round, 9 or less to the loser. And again, I agree, a very close fight.
You know, the punching of Mafouf looks like he's bringing more authority, but I'll tell you what, Vega's piling up the points in between. He really is.
What do you like, the power punching of Ali Mafouf or the pinpoint accuracy of Mike Vega?
Well, this was clearly Vega's round, no doubt about that. And I think Vega's best round by far. And the crowd showing its appreciation.
And tomorrow night, we'll have again many more celebrities. We'll be joined at ringside by the former heavyweight champion of the world. Larry Holmes will be here. Tex Cobb will be coming back. Tonight again, we welcome Smokin' Burt Cooper, who will be fighting for the WBU title.
You know what, Mike? Let's see if we can't get Tex Cobb up here to help us with some commentary. Yeah, let's see this mood, the slip and the bang.
Randall Tex Cobb joining us at ringside. Tex, you want to pull a chair up here and sit down and relax, because we're going to put you to work.
Oh, what a surprise.
What a shock. I think you're sitting on the court here.
That's probably the most fun he's had all day, with the exception of this fight.
I'll tell you what, these guys are hard at it.
I'll tell you what, you especially like, I know Mike Vega from other fights, and Mafouf is quite a defensive fighter, is he not, Tex?
He truly is. What you end up missing with this guy is that he is extremely slick. Not just slick, he's off angle and he's awkward. Now, he gets 2 for 1 on that because he's not only all those things, he's double tough. He's got that chin of granite. Now, he wings those wide, but look how, I'm telling you, he's not hurt. Mike Vega is not getting hit. If you look at that on the replay, you will see Mike Vega's hands up. Those wide punches are landing on leather. Those punches look a lot better than they are.
He is rolling with the punches, for sure.
They get the
More
crowd
than rolling, he's got his hands up. He's doing a great job. Mike is a great defensive fighter. Mike is progressively taking this guy out of his fight game because Mike's hands are staying tall. Mike is making the kid miss more than he's letting the kid hit. And the kid is easy. This guy, it's very difficult to keep this guy from hitting you because he throws those wide off-angle punches, and he comes at such an unusual wide angle that he's subject to hit you in any given second.
And again, Tex, Vega doesn't get thrown off his stride. He goes back to working that mechanical left jab, and you just don't throw him off his game.
He just stabs that thing, doesn't he? Do a great job.
Yeah, he sticks that out there, and Vega's scoring points with each one of those. Every once in a while, Mafuth brings in the windmill, but Vega can take those punches, we know.
On the ropes, it's Ali Mafuth, and it certainly is a good round here in round number 5 after Vega coming on strong in round number 4.
Now, Tex, if you had to work out the style of Mafuth, which is that slippery style that you referred to, what advice would you be giving to Mike Vega?
Stay on top of him with that good jab. Maintain your posture. Posture is vital in this thing. He's got to keep those hands up because this guy hits those wide angle punches. You've got to keep a good posture, and it's very difficult to do when this guy is so unorthodox. But those kind of things that he's doing right there are vitally important. When he gets inside, tie him up, execute the punches, and keep your hands up when you get through punching. Mike does a really good job of this.
And we see some hot dogging on the part of Ali Mafuth, but Vega doesn't buy it. He comes back with the jabs and the uppercuts, and really nothing throws him off his game.
Well, you know, you call that hot dogging, but I'm telling you right now, that is very classic defensive fighting, classic head motion. I mean, it looks like hot dogging when you're out here, but what this guy is doing is frustrating the dickens out of a normal fighter.
But Vega's not buying it.
No.
He's not taking it.
Michael Vega's keeping his hands up. He's staying in good posture. Look at that.
And there's the end of round number 5. We get the cameras down here. Once again, Mike Mittman at ringside along with John Carrolley. We're being joined by former heavyweight contender now, movie star Randall Tex Cobb. And Randy, what a great night it is for boxing. And you fought many times in Las Vegas, and this certainly reminds me with all the glitz, the glamour, the outside, the beautiful weather, just like Las Vegas.
It is great out here. I'm telling you right now, it's perfect weather to fight in. It's not too cold. It's not too hot. And I'll tell you, I've been in Vegas when it was 100 degrees after sundown, and that ain't easy to deal with. But let's look at these fights. You see this? He's slinging those punches, but very few of them are landing because Mike's got his hands up in great position. That's what's important. Although this guy is flurrying and looking like he's killing Mike, he's not, because Mike's basics, Mike's posture is perfect. That's what's going to make the difference in this fight. This kid's triple tough and very slick. Plus he throws those unorthodox punches. But Mike Vega's doing a great job. I'm very proud of him.
The 6th and final round of this junior middleweight battle. As you mentioned, Vega keeps his hands up and he rolls with that body. He's not a still target. He moves, he rolls with the punches. A very mechanical boxer, an excellent boxer. And Mafuth tries to pit bull him to the ropes, but now back in center ring, and Vega goes back to working that jab.
I'm telling you, it makes all the difference in the world. You control the fight with that thing, and you've got to have it with a guy like this guy. You see, he's slapping, he's doing all those big wild punches, but Mike is controlling the action with that great jab.
And we certainly, John Carrolley, have a bout that everybody can be excited about. And now the two tie up along the ropes, and they're broken by referee Tony Wolf. Again, we're live from SportsFest, and Ali Mafuth in the black with the white stripes. It's Mike Vega from Allentown in the black and gold. And they're back in center ring, and Tex, they are winging.
They're getting after it. Just the way a last round should be fought. Full speed, dead out.
This is boxing at its finest right here at SportsFest 97 live on TV2 Sports. And this has to be a very close fight for the 3 judges seated at ringside. Left right by Mike Vega, left hook missing from the pit bull. And again, Vega goes back using that foot movement again, Tex.
That stinging left jab, stepping away from that. He's not he's trying to make sure that he doesn't get in the situation with this guy in close where Mahfoud gets to wing that flurry of punches that looks excellent but doesn't land.
And left over the head, another left gets through from Ali the Pitbull Mahfoud.
Ali's a good, slick fighter. This is a difficult fight to judge unless you're very careful of what you're looking at. You can't be fooled by Ali's slickness. You can't be fooled by his wide slapping punches.
Inside, it's Vega punching a wild left hook and followed by a right by the Pitbull, coming from the very tough gyms that you know all about in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Buddy, those gyms are rougher than a woodcutter's butt.
Well, let's see. Can we have an instant replay on that comment?
We'll have plenty of instant replays on the roast in September. And we're down to the final portion here of this fight. And there is the bell.
Excellent job.
And the fans really standing and applauding for these two fine junior middleweights.
I'll tell you what, Mike, it was a very good contest, and Tex is exactly right. Unless you know how to score a fight like this, it may not have appeared to be the same fight to all the judges.
Tex, let's take a look at that replay here again in the final portion.
Now watch exactly how many punches Ali does land on the anywhere but on the gloves, because he holds his hands up real good. He's got good posture. But see that stuff? That is slap. And you look at what Mike's throwing. Mike's throwing excellent punches. Mike's throwing very classy, and he's controlling the guy with the left hand. Even if it's a push, he's still controlling the fight with that left hand. The only way to beat a guy like this is with excellent classical basics and a good posture.
I'll feel you, baby boy. All right? Handle your business.
And Steve Mittman over there, you know Steve Mittman, don't you?
Absolutely, great American.
And he's collecting the scorecards by the judge. He had a busy day. He played with all the gang from B104. They played the One Life to Live soap opera. They played a baseball game.
Oh, did he?
Yes, yes.
Well, did he win the One Life to Live, or did he win a role on there? Because I hear he's a great young actor.
Yes, yes. He may be on the soap opera. He's checking with the commissioner. When you take that long, you know that it's close, right, Tex?
It's got to be very close. Again, I mentioned that unless you really know what you're looking at, this is a very tough fight to score. But if you watch very closely, you'll see where the classical execution of technique, the controlling of the fight, was done, I believe, by Mike Vega.
All right, we will certainly find out in just a moment here as we await the decision in this junior middleweight bout. Are you going to be here tomorrow night? Can we get you to come back?
You got me, baby, as long as you want me.
We always want you here. You know that. You know we love you here, and we'd love to have you back. And guess who's going to be here, I think, tomorrow?
Who's that?
The champ, Larry Holmes, is going to be here.
All right, big Larry.
We can get a little pre-roast here. Get everybody warmed up.
Just crank that up if you would.
So that's going to be here tomorrow night. We invite you to come out to SportsFest 97. 6 o'clock, the amateurs get underway. And 9 o'clock, more professional boxing. If you can't get out, we'll be bringing it all to you live, exclusively only on TV2 Sports. I think we're ready. Let's go up for the official decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, here is your decision. Judge Greer scored it 58-56. Both Judge Battle and Judge Bruni both scored it 57-57. This bout is a draw.
Well, I'll tell you what, Mike, that begs for a replay, doesn't it?
I would say if ever I have seen a case for a rematch, and I would tell you one thing, John Carolee, if we would walk around and ask the fans if they would like to see a rematch, I think this would be the perfect case for this. And what a night it was for great boxing, and what a final way to go. They've got Tex Cobb in here for the drawing, and Don Hunt is here, and certainly a beautiful night and a great way. We had some early knockouts, but
what a great way to end it. What a great way to end it. And Mike, you know, we're going to have this drawing, and then we're going to give out the awards to the boxers who prevailed. All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, Randall Tex Cobb pulling the winning ticket. And it is.
Keep this coupon. Number 0563. Double up, you are a winner.
And we're doing the draw. We've got celebrity items that they're auctioning off.
While they're drawing it, we got Mike Vega here. Let's take advantage of that opportunity, Mike. What do you say? Sonny Mistretta and Mike Vega. I'll tell you what, Mike, a tough guy to fight, hard to hit, takes all the angles away from you, slips from you, and can punch hard. And I'll tell you what, the only guy that I think in this weight class that can get through those defenses is Mike Vega, and you did a pretty good job of it tonight.
Mike, what about those right hands? He was throwing them from somewhere about 3 states down south, and they were coming up. He was actually putting his head down, and he didn't see where he was throwing, but we were talking that you did get nailed a few times. It was some of those right hands.
That's correct. And the ref kept warning him to keep his head up. Right, there you go. There I was like John said, I was aiming with a right hand, but he took a weird angle there, and then he coming from the bottom and did connect several times.
You know what?
One of that, I was just waiting for him like right there to come in, and I figured I'll get him with a right hand sooner or later, but this guy's really tough to hit.
Would you like to fight him again, Mike?
Oh, absolutely, John. I fight anybody, even graphics. I take all comers. I don't duck anybody.
Well, we know
That's what this game's all about.
Mike, we know the instructions that you gave Sonny, and that is you're not coming into this fight unless you have a tough opponent.
That's correct.
Mike, let me ask you, did he hurt you at any time with those right hands? And he did catch you with a few left hooks.
He did.
Were you hurt?
I wasn't hurt badly, but he did kind of stun me a couple of times with those right hands coming from out of nowhere. However, I was like at the tail end aware of those right hands, and I figured when he wins, I'm just going to either take one and try to nail him with one of my own right hand. And unfortunately, it didn't come around, but well, several times I did catch him, but nothing really severe.
If you thought you had him figured out now by round 6, and let's say there were 6 more rounds, what would you do differently for those 6 rounds?
I would honestly take one of his jabs and go at him with a right hand. I mean, you know, with everything I got, just take one of his jabs and really aim and let him have one of my right hands.
All right, Mike, let's take a look at some of that action at the end of the round, if we can get you to call what you're doing.
Here, absolutely. He's coming in with his head down, and I was afraid of being head-butted, so I figure I'm just going to tag him with a few punches and wait for him to put his head up and then try to nail him with something really hard. Like I said before, the ref kept warning him, keep that head up, you're coming in low, and that to me is really something to concern myself. I really don't want to get hit with any headbutts and call the fight on cuts or whatever the case may be.
You know, as John Carrolley mentioned, the saddest thing about this whole fight, it was 6 rounds, and the fans would have loved to have seen another 4. Maybe we can bring that back at a future date for the rematch and schedule it for 10 rounds.
Well, I'll tell you what, the next fight is September 5th at the Days Inn. Service Electric will be there. Mike Vega is always there. And Sonny, I don't know, if you think you could get Ali Mafouth back in the ring again, see if these guys figured each other out anymore and see what would happen, I think you'd please the crowd just as much back then.
Yeah. You know what, before we end this, I really want to give Sonny a lot of credit. You know,